Good afternoon. This is your man Who Did It. Who did it this time with another episode of Take the Kid Gloves Off, Part 3. Before I start this video, I just want to send a couple shout outs. I know I normally do them towards the mid or even at the end. First and foremost, I want to thank my boy Jacob Israel. I'd like to shoot a shout out to him, man, just for all of the information and believe it or not, the influences all our life, man, whether it was good or bad, man. I just want to send you a shout out. I've always admired your work on that field, in the booth, and now with the lessons. I'd like to send another shout out to my boy C-Dub out in Cali. Another template of what it means to be an upright standing man. Through all the thick and thin, man, to our days back in New York. I just want to send you a shout out, bro. And last but not least, my man Dang's World. If y'all get a chance, man, he like HD. Welcome to HD TV. Dang's World, man. Y'all need to subscribe to that brother's channel, man. He's been really kicking some knowledge these last couple of days. More importantly, these last couple of hours, man, about this vaccine and how the babies out there in California being forced to get the vaccination and how we need to start putting onus on our people. If you just heard that bell in the background, I apologize. That was the close. You know, a brother sometimes got to do some housework. Nonetheless, let's begin, shall we? My very first video, or YouTube upload that is, was called Drago Vision, where I like to highlight and amplify Apollo Creed's character along with the so-called villain from the Soviet Union, Ivan Drago. And I used it metaphorically speaking to enlighten the brothers who love the red pill content. And I compared myself and a lot of you, female subscribers also, to be more like Ivan Drago in that boxing ring. You pay attention to all of the hoopla around you, all of the alphabet boys, and now all of the different gangs, whether it be Proud or BLM or, you know, all of the other movements. This is not a debate because I myself, I am apolitical. I don't really get involved in choosing a side. I would love to tell y'all a lie that there's good and bad on both sides, but at this point, I just want you to pay attention. And just like a month or two ago when Roy and Mike Tyson got in that ring, there was a lot of preliminary fights, if y'all ordered it. You know, Nate got taken to the fourth dimension. And there was a lot of good fights that night, man. A lot of up-and-coming guys. But right now, there's a bigger fight that's approaching us. And I don't mean Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford. Or Mr. Lopez. Or Shakur Stevenson. No, baby. Have a seat. There's 3 fights that's coming. I don't know if they're going to be all in the same month. But we have to get ready. And get your popcorn ready. In the words of Terrell Owens, the Hall of Fame wide receiver. The first fight is elitist versus everyone else. Now, who is an elitist? Whether you would like to put them in a square box with just saying that our government is full of elitists. You may look at some of your celebrities out in Hollywood or in New York. Take out the N and put a J in. York. This is not hate speech. I'm just keeping it real. Who signs the checks? Who cast the actors and actresses? Stay with me. Elitists can be some of your fraternities. And yes, some of you Afrocentric brothers and sisters who have pledged your life, hopefully not your soul away. I'm talking to you too. I'm also talking to those individuals who may have hit the lotto, or they may be sitting on dough as an athlete. Or if you are enlightened from the Most High, God Almighty has gave you the red pill content, and you understand the scriptures, and you can spit fire like no one else. You don't stumble on your words like I do from time to time, or other brothers. You speak very articulate, and you're acute, and you know everything else there is to know how to persuade the people. I'm talking to you. You're an elitist because you're better than everyone else, right? So elitist versus everyone else. That's going to be your first match. Pay attention. I recommend you don't cheer for either side or either corner. Pay attention to their corner, how they're being talked to, how they're being promoted, how they're misleading the people, left and right. All right? Pay attention to that first fight. Elitist versus everybody. Shout out to my boy Detroit T. There used to be a shirt and a saying that went with it. Detroit versus everybody. Then Cleveland hijacked that. Cleveland versus everybody. I seen folks here, Pittsburgh versus everybody. And NWA straight out of Compton, then straight out of COVID, straight out of 2020. Just corny, man. I'm an originator, so I really don't like when people persuade or jock another person's slogan and then just pervert it. That's why the whole, BLM thing, then it went to trans, then it went to autistic lives matter, then blue. I mean, all y'all corny, man. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, y'all all corny. So we got to pay attention to who's the elitist and who's everybody else. Then we go to the next fight. It's not quite preliminary, but it's getting ready for that main event, baby. All right? Next fight. Stay with me, y'all, because I don't want to bore you. This shouldn't be too long, but I need to get my point across. It's going to be you being who you are as a person versus the mental. Everyone else. It's you. You in that ring now. Us versus them. Well, who did it? Who is us and who is them? I'm going to make this short and sweet. If you have to ask who did it this time? If you have to ask me who is us and who is them, you're already them. So please step away from me. You can dislike, you can unsubscribe, you can move the hell on. Because at the end of the day, straight up and down, man, I ain't got time for it. So we can move on to the main event. Shall we? Let's go. Man versus God. Now, I could run with this right now and tell you that when we say man, we could put colorism on it. We could say it's Esau. That meaning a red man with hairy arms. But when we say Esau, or when we say the man, and some brothers who's in the know from them camps, shout out to all of them. Whenever you're really trying to steer the people in the right direction, when you put colorism on it, you almost make it much smaller. And shout out to Nicholas Jacobs, another brother in the know. I look at Esau as a mindset. Though the person that might be controlling the puppet strings, that being the so-called white man. And I say so-called because there are brothers from the boot that's from close to Sicily and other parts of Turkey. They may not favor all the way your blonde hair, blue eye Anglo-Saxon, but he might be under the mindset. Sadly, guess what, y'all? A lot of so-called brothers and sisters, or even down to the darkest melanated people in Africa, have followed Esau's plan. So if that's the case, my brothers, you are now part of that elect. God versus man. You understand what I'm saying? What do I mean by that? Let's start for the very beginning, what got me even wanting to do this part 3 of Take the Kid Gloves Off. And this is sad, man. Cecil the lion. Let's look all the way back then, whenever this occurred. Remember that? The dentist? You know, he went over there, he was told in Zimbabwe. I don't got no paper in front of me, man. This is off the cusp because it means so much to me. I love animals. Disclaimer of who did it. I love animals. From the smallest things like spiders and centipedes all the way to that blue whale, I believe they're all fascinating because they follow instinct while I foolishly have a choice. And I say foolishly because sometimes I envy those animals because they are one with God, with nature. Some of y'all call it the universe. But what's hilarious is what controls the universe. Another video for another time. Let's keep it going, shall we? The man, he hates Cecil. You know why? Because he wants to play God. So he took him off the planet. 13 years that animal roamed in his little area, planted many seeds, had babies, had mates or brides, whatever way you want to look at the Lion Kingdom, those beautiful lions. You wanted to play God and come in here and put a bullet in his head or a tranquilizer, and for 11 hours he bled. For 40 hours, some of the scientists and professionals in Zimbabwe said that animal walked around in pain. Who told you to do that? They asked you nicely not to do that. Well, you know what, Mr. Dennis, wherever you are, and this is not hate speech, by the way. I hope I don't get dinged. You got your day coming, man. There's a receipt. There's debt that you owe. But I don't mean money or currency. The only currency I'm talking about is blood. Let's move on to my man Harambe. Rest in peace. The gorilla out in Cincinnati, I do believe, or Columbus, you know, which is a state over from me. There's never been any reports of gorillas killing people in captivity. Never. All those security on deck that day and tough guys. My question is, where was the tranquilizer? Why couldn't y'all hit him with the tranquilizer, put him to sleep, and then go rescue that baby? Nah, you like killing. That's just what you do. And when I say you, I'm talking to men. Preferably, obviously, that white elite man. But I'm talking about my people too. Because sadly, I hear them say all the time, it's just a stupid animal. Meanwhile, you went out to go purchase this thing at Petland or a puppy mill or some hood spot to go get these Pits and Dobermans and German Shepherds. You don't feed them, you put them in the corner, you starve them, and then when he run wild, like most of them do, they go and bite somebody else's child, which is wrong, and they should be euthanized on the spot because once they get that taste of blood, they can become a killer. But you know who else need to get dealt with? Some of these clowns out here. You can't even take care of your kids or yourself, walking around pocket full of stones. I get all that. You want to be hard so that dog defines you. You punk, you coward. So it ain't just necessarily a Esau or white man thing. I'm talking to niggas too. Pardon me. So hold me accountable sometimes when I put colorism on everything. We can keep it going with the animal kingdom, but see how it translates to the next topic of God versus man, by the way. He really believes he's going to win in these last days. You telling us 1 minute that there's a cure for this thing, a vaccine, and your man, little Fauci, you know what I mean? He tells you that this vaccine can't even protect you. We're still in the probation period. We don't even know. What make you think he love you in this fight? Which side are y'all choosing? You choosing. Now you should be cheering in the main event. That's what we all been waiting for, God versus man. Now, to some of you great elitists from the first fight, I know you're God. I know your woman is God. Everybody's God. This desktop I'm on right now is God. The wood grain in my living room is God. I know. The hamburger I just ate is God. You know what I'm saying? Everything is God. Yeah, I get that. It's sad that y'all really believe that. But in this last round or this last fight, pardon me, just remember one thing, yo. You're going to miss, but I hope you swing hard. So to all of the people who's anticipating for 21 to get better, I'm not here to be pessimistic or be a killjoy by any means. But I just like to call it how I see it. They already starting this madness. We don't even need to get into the foolishness with the inauguration and that bull crap that happened last Wednesday, even though it's part of the war we're in. Because that's really you versus the mental. So yeah, man, let's take the kid gloves off and let's talk. Let's be real, man. Let's go hand in hand with this thing. I'm not advocating violence now. If you're slow and you still don't get what I'm trying to say, I'm just tired of playing these games. Once again, shout out to my boy Dames, where I love how he ended that last video where he said, he's sick and tired of, pretty much his people. But you know what, Dame, man, keep your head held high, because remember this, bro, whether you follow the scriptures or not, but let's just say you've heard of these so-called stories. God only saved 8 when the flood came. My man Lot lost his wife, whether y'all like it or not. There's so many different examples in them scriptures where people have lost loved ones. Joseph was in captivity and slavery for something he didn't even do, sold by his brothers. We can just keep it going and going, but that would be me being too much like a pastor. And that's not really my lane, man. That's not my lane, dog. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, man, all praises to the Most High. Once again, man, I'm your man who did it this time. I just want to say shout out to all of those brothers from the beginning. Continue the great work, and I don't mean that on no Masonic phrase. When I say great work, I tell all you brothers all the time, man, y'all changing the paradigm with this foolishness out here when it comes to the media. All right? Salute. 100. I'm out.